Hello, Roadrunners fans, and welcome to the Coach's Corner here live from the Tivoli Tap House. I'm John Kietzmann, the Associate Director of Athletics here at MSU Denver, filling in for our regular student hosts tonight. It is finals week here at MSU Denver, so we have a number of things going on, and finals are one of them. So we're going to jump right into things. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. We're going to have head coach, baseball coach Jerrid Oates. He's going to be on the show, as well as head softball coach Annie Van Wetzinga. We're also going to bring on one of our top junior student athletes from the softball team, catcher Sarena Espinoza. So we're going to have a jam-packed show for you tonight with lots of action. But before we get into anything really big, we want to recap what happened and highlights from this last week. Coach Oates' squad celebrated their 7 seniors at home this past weekend against number 8 Colorado Mesa. The Roadrunners finished off the series with a 4-3 victory over the Mavericks on Sunday. Sophomore Hunter Hogaboom was stellar on the mound against the vaunted Colorado Mesa lineup. He went 8 strong innings, earning the win. Senior Jake Thurston came through on senior day, along with the other Hunter Donaldson, to provide the offensive spark. MSU Denver will be the number 3 seed entering the RMAC tournament this week. The softball team took part in its conference tournament this past week. The tournament took place in Grand Junction, Colorado, and the Roadrunners entered as the number 3 seed. The squad fell in a back-and-forth affair to Colorado Christian in the first round. Senior Kalissa Bakovic and Sarena Espinoza tied up the game in the bottom of the first inning with a couple of RBIs, but the Cougars put up a 3 spot in the 4th inning, en route to an eventual 6-4 win. MSU Denver would fall to Adams State later in the day to end the season for the Roadrunners. Now taking a quick look at track and field. From the RMAC Outdoor Men's and Women's Track and Field Championships in Gunnison, sophomore Robert Carlson took the gold in the men's long jump, while also hitting an NCAA provisional qualifying mark of 7.32 meters. The men's 4x100 relay team qualified for the finals after hitting a time of 41.51 seconds. Brandon Croggy earned a spot in the finals of the men's 1500 meters, racing to a 4th fastest time in the prelims. There are still 2 days of competition left, so keep up to date on all of the action at roadrunnersathletics.com. Best of luck to the Roadrunners as they look to bring home some hardware. Now we're going to be joined here by head baseball coach Jerrid Oates. First question, Coach, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I do miss our normal hosts, but we'll see if we can get through it with you.
We'll try and battle.
Perfect.
If you work with me a little bit,
right.
I think we can make this happen.
We'll make this happen.
So let's start off, and congratulations on your big win against Colorado Mesa over the weekend. I mean, it's a great way to build up some momentum heading into the RMAC tournament. What does that victory on Sunday do for you leading into the tournament?
Yeah, it just gets us going into the tournament on the right foot, always coming off of a win, especially against a nationally ranked team and a real good team in Colorado Mesa. It kind of gets everything moving forward, and obviously they're the number 1 seed, and they won the regular season. And in the back of our head, you know, if we do go up against them again in this tournament, we know we have a chance to beat them.
So going into this weekend, you were really playing for seeding. You'd already clinched a spot in the tournament, so you were really kind of trying to figure out where you were lined up. The tournament's changed some format this year, so it went from a 4-team tournament to a 6-team league. How did that come about, and what does that do for you going forward here with this?
You know, the RMAC, when we added Colorado Springs to the conference by coded within the RMAC and moved it to a 6-team tournament. The good thing about going to the 6-team is that's what the regional is going to look like. So you're going to kind of get a glimpse of what the regional is going to be once, you know, if you make it to that point. So it adds a couple more games that you can play throughout it. It starts a day earlier. You know, so you really get tested, you know, if you make it deep into that thing with your pitching and being able to get to the last game and to be able to win that thing. Adding those extra games definitely makes things a little harder to get to at the end.
So we're going to come back and talk a little bit about pitching here a little later, but let's start back on this last weekend. you had a tough one on Friday night, but you come back and you play on Saturday and really compete in both games on Saturday in the doubleheader, and then you come away with your victory on Sunday. After Friday night's game, what did you go in and tell the team to get them geared up for those 3 remaining games? I
just told them we need to bounce back, and we've done that all year. It's baseball. You're going to lose games. That happens, and it was a tough loss. They put a bunch of runs on us, but deep down inside, I knew the guys would be ready to go the next day, and they showed up and they played good baseball on Saturday. We just fell a little short, and then come Sunday, it all came together and we put it together and we got out of there with a win and a really intense, close baseball game.
Yeah, and Sunday being senior day with those 7 seniors, what does this senior class mean to this squad?
They've been awesome. We've got a bunch of 4-year, 5-year guys in that class, and they've been I've said it before, they've been the backbone of this program. They've been a group that's come in and changed things, and they're just really great young men. I think that's the biggest thing. They take care of it in the classroom. They take care of it on the baseball field. Their pride for the program, for the university, is just off the charts, and they're so much fun to be around day in and day out, and so much fun to coach. And you never ever have to really push them because they have that internal drive to be great and to work and to do all of those things. And they've done it for 4 years, and we're where we're at because of those guys.
Well, and Sunday, senior day, had some great performances, but really it wasn't a senior that had probably the best, or arguably the best performance. When you looked at the pitcher Hunter Hogeboom, he goes 8 innings, only gives up 3 earned runs in his 8 innings. Can you speak to what he did for his performance? Because I know you had mentioned earlier that after the game, how he had gone deeper with his pitch count than anything before. So what does that do for both Hunter and your pitching bullpen as you start to gear up for this conference tournament?
Yeah, for Hunter, I think it just brings a lot of confidence to him. He threw really well. The best thing he did out there was he managed the game. They had, I think, 9, 10, 11 hits off of him, but he always got the next out, and that's why we were able to win that ball game. He pitched out of some tight situations, so he just managed the entire game on the mound, and he'll be on short rest, when he throws again in the tournament, but literally everybody is at this point just because of when the tournament starts, so that's kind of part of it. And we did get the rest the bullpen a little bit. We didn't have to go to anybody twice, and sometimes some of those things that come with the game itself. So we're pretty fresh, and we'll be ready to go on the mound.
So you've got a new set. It's a second season, if you will, going into the postseason. You start looking at your first opponent in CSU Pueblo, and you've split with them down at Pueblo earlier this season already. So an away game. Now you get to be the home team when you get to play them on a neutral site, granted. But what do we look for in this matchup against CSU Pueblo?
It's kind of one of those games where we're going to we haven't seen them in such a long time. We opened up conference play with them, and so you're not 100% sure who they are now, and just like we're not the same team that was when we split with them down at their place. Their number 1's good. He's a fastball slider guy. He can run it up there velocity-wise, and they're going to play good defense, and they're going to be a scrappy team to go up against.
Coach, so one last question for you. We talked about pitching a little bit earlier and you having the chance to rest your bullpen. When you get to the postseason, everybody's available a little bit. So what do you take into this with your mindset as you set your pitching rotation going into
you set the first 2 games to me, and that's all. Because if you lose a game along the way, it's double a limb, so the second one turns into you going home. So you set your first 2 games because you're going to play those 2, and depending on if you win or lose, then you kind of move it from there. If you lose a game, all of a sudden everybody becomes available in the bullpen. If you're winning games, then you got to start looking at the next game and setting your staff that way. So I think a double elimination baseball tournament's a lot of fun because it gets a little crazy, and You know, a couple years ago when we played in the championship game, we brought a starter back on short rest and started him in the if game of the tournament, and yeah, so it gets to be a lot of fun, and it's a lot of managing. So it's you know, it's that time of the year.
Well, that's why you get paid the big bucks.
Exactly.
So,
yes.
Hey, best of luck to you
awesome.
in the tournament. We appreciate you having you on here all season. So it's been a pleasure, and thank you. And you can follow along on RoadrunnersAthletics.com on their quest for the conference championship. But we're going to come back here in a little bit. We're going to stay on the diamond, but switch sides. And we're going to talk to head softball coach Annie Van Wetzinga next here on the Coach's Corner.
Dobinson stops on a dime, now to Cortez. The Cortez feeding, count the bucket, and foul.
If you can't get enough of MSU Denver sports, then you need to tune in to the Roadrunner Review. Get into the game with exclusive highlights, interviews, player stories, and of course the top plays that will have you jumping out of your seat. You can catch all the action on Comcast CET and at RoadrunnersAthletics.com.
Hey, nice job! Great spot!
Brought to you by your #1 volume Nissan dealer, Tynan's Nissan. Come in today and choose from nearly 1,200 new Nissans. Get 0% for 72 months with no payments for 90 days. During the Bottom Line event, lease the new Altima for only $149 per month. Gives you both efficiency and performance. Looking for an SUV? Then choose the all-wheel drive Rogue at just $159 per month. Also available with optional third-row seat. Bottom Line savings at Tynan's Nissan in Aurora and Fort Collins.
I'm Raquel Torres, senior guard for the women's basketball team.
Runners, and there's Torres, three-point shot up and
Oh, there it goes.
Raquel Torres, the trifecta.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Andre Harris, senior center for the Roadrunners men's basketball team.
And here's Andre Harris with the jam, bobbing and weaving through traffic.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner, live here from the Tivoli Tap House. Before we start talking some softball, we got a little reminder for you from the Tivoli Tap House. The launch party for the Refuge Brewing Company is coming up here tomorrow night from 4:30 to 7:30. It's going to have some great specials. We're going to have some things going on. $3 draft beers from the Refuge Brewing Company. That's a heck of a deal, you know, and there's really nothing I like more than a good deal and good people and
yeah.
Good deal, good people. I have
Absolutely.
head softball coach Annie Van Wetzinga joining us now.
Yeah,
here
thanks
on
for
the
having
Corner.
me.
Yeah, we always love having you, Coach.
I appreciate that.
Passion is very much appreciated on this show. So let's jump right into things here.
All right.
And let's start talking a little bit about this last week in the RMAC tournament. You know, you played a couple of games here against two tough opponents as you're coming down the stretch. One against Colorado Christian and then against Adams State.
Yeah.
Both on that first day. You know, the first game really against Colorado Christian. What were you expecting when you jumped into that first game, and how did you get everybody prepared for the tournament?
I knew it was going to be a tight game. We took the series 3-1 in the regular season, but they were all really closely contested games. And you know, they're just like all the way around a really solid ball club. One particular area might not stand out to you, but again, it's kind of similar to us. I think we're actually really matched up pretty evenly. You're just kind of steady across the board. And they have a pitcher who was a transfer from Utah Valley University, Division I. And she does a nice job. Again, not overpowering, but it's about hitting your spots and being consistent, and that's what she does. And she's just really good at keeping her team in the game. And so, yeah, I knew it was going to be a close ball game, and you know, we were just trying to focus on ourselves and trying not to give them extra opportunities. And ultimately, that is what we had just some costly errors that came back and haunt us.
Yeah, in a back and forth affair, you end up falling 6-4. And in that double elimination tournament with softball, unlike the baseball tournament, you come right back that same day and you're playing again.
Yeah.
So when you're coming back for that second game that's a little bit later in the day, things get behind, you don't know, it's scheduled to start at 5:30, but you're not playing until 6:30. How much does that emotion and anticipation and then the fatigue of the first game actually play into the second game?
Oh, it can be a grind, that's for sure. You know, that's why it's always nice to stay in the winner's bracket. Yeah, if you start looking ahead and you know thinking about what you got to do, it can be exhausting, and that is a long day. I mean, we had the first game of the day at 8:30 a.m. and then we're scheduled at 5:30, but it actually get onto the field. I think it was like 6:30, 6:45, something like that. And so that in itself is just a really tough break. We try to go back to the hotel and let them rest up a little bit, and hopefully you can push the reset button and come back out and kind of scrap and get after it. But it can be tough.
Well, and with the kind of funky schedule you had to end the year with the weather delays and some things to go up to Alamosa and play Adams State in that last regular season series, and then you come back and you play them on that next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do you think that had any factor in how the game's outcome and how it played out?
It could. Adams was on, they started really slowly this year, but they got on a nice little streak and, nice streak and to kind of put it together, get into the tournament. They were kind of a hot ball club, a little bit like CSU Pueblo was last year. They kind of came in and on a run, and Pueblo ended up making the title game of the tournament last year. So yeah, Adams was on a streak, and their bats were hot. So and it can be tough to see an opponent last week, and then you turn around and see them again the next week in the tournament.
Yeah. And I know this isn't the way that you wanted to end the season.
Yeah.
So when you start looking forward and you're looking into next year already, what are you doing right now as the season comes to a close? How are you recharging? What are you taking some time away? You going to go boating? You going to go play some golf?
Hopefully I can get out on Coach Oates' boat.
Perfect.
Try to play my cards right again. Get out there. Buying a house. Close next week, so gonna stay busy with that. The moving and packing.
Lots of life happening.
Yeah. So
right
is that a vacation, John? I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it that, but it is an exciting life moment and step that's going on. So. Yeah, in terms of next year, having individual meetings with players and everybody, I like where our returners are at, and I know they're already kind of using the way this season ended as like fuel and motivation to make it better and learn from why we ended up here, and let's learn from it and be better next year.
So is there anything that you told the exiting seniors? I know we've spoken a lot about that senior class and how much they meant. Is there anything you told them as they wrapped up their softball career and kind of moving them on into regular life?
Yeah. I told them obviously this isn't the way we envisioned it ending, and it's really hard right now and kind of raw emotions, but they need to remember kind of their full careers they had. A lot of them, had a lot of success, a lot of postseason play. And a lot of athletes across the country would love to have those careers and those opportunities and those experiences. So at the end of the day right now, I know they are hurting right now, but, they had great careers and good experiences, and were a big part of our program.
The nice thing that you have, though, is you have a very solid and strong junior class.
Yeah.
One of which we're going to speak to here shortly in junior Sarena Espinoza. So when you start looking at that class, and Sarena in particular, what are you looking at for her? Are you asking her to step up and lead this team next year? And if so, what are you looking for her to do?
Yeah, leadership for sure, and that's Serena's done really nice things on the field, but that's by far her strongest characteristic, and what she brings to the team is, who she is as a person. And she was a great leader for us this year. She's confident, and she's outspoken, and she's passionate, which is the most important thing. And so just for her to continue to be herself. And then for those other juniors, I think they're ready and they're excited and to kind of step up with her to kind of lead the team to where we want to go. And so, yeah, we're looking at, Annika Anderson, Harley Hoosier, Kristen Peters, along with our other, sophomores and freshmen getting older, and help them be a part of that. So, but yeah, definitely looking for the juniors to, just be strong leaders for us and be kind of the voices of our culture. We want to get stronger there.
Well, Coach, thank you for all you've done so far this season. It's always a pleasure to watch you on the diamond.
Appreciate it.
You do coach with such a passion, and that bleeds over into your players, and we really appreciate everything you've done for us this year.
Well, I appreciate you having me. I appreciate hearing your radio voice. And don't kid yourself. This guy actually sounds like Minnie Mouse outside of here. So, this is a nice radio voice.
Hey, I'll deepen it up just for you. But next up, we get to bring up a journalism and broadcast major. We're going to bring up
Sarena Espinoza. Yeah, she's a great one.
And can't ask for much more coming up next. And we'll be right back here on the Coach's Corner.
celebration is on for Mike Dunlap.
The Skyhawks celebrate a second national title in program history.
And the winner of the 2006 Harlan Hill Trophy as Division II College Football Player of the Year is Danny Woodhead from Chadron State.
ASU! ASU! ASU!
What do we got?
Are you a college student that needs a place to live? Are you still living with your parents and want your own space? The Regency Student Housing is perfect for you. The community offers many amenities such as a fitness center, 2 basketball courts, big screen amphitheater, all-you-can-eat dining hall, bowling alley, arcade, free parking, and a shuttle to and from the Auraria campus. For more information, please call 303-477-1950 or visit our website at regencystudenthousing.com.
I'm Lexi Marr, senior defender for the Roadrunners women's soccer team.
These teams looking for offense, and there's Marr, the all-conference defender.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Anthony Grant, Director of Athletics at MSU Denver.
It's because of your generosity and support that our athletic programs have been able to achieve sustained success and continue to be one of the top athletic departments in the nation.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner here live from the Tivoli Tap House. And we've got another announcement for you for another great event that's coming up here at the Tivoli Tap House. It's the Golden Grad event hosted by the MSU Denver Alumni Association. It's this Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. Food is going to be provided. What a great way for alums to come back, get involved here on campus. You can find out on all Tivoli Tap House events at tivolibrewingco.com. So you're going to be a soon alumni here. We're now joined by junior catcher and student athlete Sarena Espinoza. Sarena, pleasure to have you here on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me tonight.
You know, let's just kind of get right into the mix here and start talking about your experience here as a student athlete, and especially from this past weekend. You just got done competing in the RMAC tournament, came off of a couple of tough losses, and I know that those weren't necessarily the way that you wanted to end the season with those 2 losses in the RMAC tournament. But what do you think about those 2 games? It was a back and forth affair in the first game, and then you have to come back and play in that second game. And as Coach Van Wetzinga told us earlier, you have a lot of emotion, have a lot of fatigue that kind of sets in, especially after you go from 2 games and then spread out throughout the day. So what's your take on those last 2 games of the season?
Well, definitely that first game, we're just taking one game at a time for sure. And you never think that you're going to lose the first game. I didn't really think there was a doubt that we were going to lose to CCU, and we were just playing confidently. I don't think we were ever scared or it hit us until we actually lost the game. And then after that, there's nothing you can do about it. So then we move on to game 2. We know we have to attack. It's a little bit later on the game. We have some time off, but we know what we're coming in for, and it was Adams, the team that we lost to the week before. So I was definitely ready to get some revenge on them. And, like she said, there's a lot of emotion, especially for the seniors. You don't want to think that could be your last game, and I think that's how they played a little bit. As far as all of us, we never want the season to end or be over. It's still a shock to us that, we're not playing next weekend. But we definitely, obviously didn't expect to go 2 and done, but it happens, and I think it's definitely a lesson for us coming into next year and how we want to attack things. And Coach talked to us a little bit about it, how to go forward to next year, but I think that's all we can do right now.
So speaking of that senior class, and you've been a part of a lot of winning and a lot of successful teams here throughout your time at MSU Denver. And you look at that senior class, they've done a lot of leading along the way. When it came to the end of the season and things got done, and you got to the final discussion with Coach and the team meeting at the end, did you say anything in the team meeting, or did Coach address anything about what she was expecting from the juniors moving forward?
I mean, she did mention something that kind of stuck with me a lot, even before we went into the tournament. For the people who are about to be done, you can't always look at the end. You know, if you're always thinking about the end product, it's probably going to be really rough and really hard for you to be able to play. So definitely just play in the moment and enjoy every bit of it, and I think you'll be a lot more successful because you're having more fun. You're not thinking about, oh, I'm going to be done in a game or two. You're thinking about enjoying this and remembering these like great memories that you're going to have. You don't ever want to be sad, but you know, that's definitely hard to do, especially as a senior. But I think us juniors and underclassmen really had to step up for our seniors and be there for them to help them get through this difficult time, because this is the sport they play their whole life, and you know, it's definitely hard to let go.
So now, flip the page a little bit. Now you're moving into being in that senior role. So after going through this season and watching how it comes to an end, what does that do to motivate you in the off season? Are you attacking it with both hands and mind locked in, or how are you approaching this off season to get ready for your final year here at MSU Denver?
Well, my freshman year I had some great seniors help me realize that even though I'm a freshman and have 4 years left, that goes by very fast. So I feel like every single season that's come, I've tried to take advantage of every opportunity I've had. So I don't think too much is going to change coming up this senior year. I'm still going to go hard. I'm still going to do everything that I can to be the best teammate and leader for my team. Being at that my senior year, it does make me a little bit nervous, and you know, I'm not superhuman or anything, and so it's exciting to be able to be that person that some freshmen can look up to, like I had my freshman year. But I'm excited to, you know, jump back into it. I mean, we got a long time to go, but it's going to be an exciting year, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all the new people coming in and what we're going to be capable of.
So you're a catcher, and you know, you're always on the move, and you know, catcher is a part of every play in baseball, or in softball and baseball. So when you start looking at this, what made you want to be a catcher? What's your favorite part about being in that position?
Well, originally I was a pitcher at 8 years old. That didn't work out, but like you said, they're in every single play. So that was my big thing. I would just get bored at other positions. I just needed to be in control, let everybody else know what to do, and I've always been that kind of person. You mean, you know me.
Yeah.
So that was just definitely my personality for the position, and I just took it on. I'm not the biggest catcher in the world, and I definitely was told that growing up, which is fine because I'm here. I told never be able to play college softball, but look at me. I've made it. So I just love being in control and just having somebody else to do it with, like the pitcher. And Cass has been my go-to for the past 3 years. So we've had a really strong bond, and we get each other. And she gets the spotlight, but I take control of the field.
I love it. Hey, that describes you to a T. You know, Sarena, thank you so much for being here. You've definitely proven yourself as a Denverite for coming here and being part of the Roadrunners family. And before we close tonight, I'd like to quickly recap what's on deck for the Roadrunners here in the upcoming time. First off, we talked with Coach Oates earlier, and his squad will head to Grand Junction for the RMAC tournament. They'll take on CSU Pueblo on Wednesday at 12 noon. You can follow their path to the championship on roadrunnersathletics.com. And the monthly luncheon is being held this week on Wednesday at Brooklands at the Pepsi Center. Luncheon will begin at 12 noon, with the men's and women's track and field team wrapping up competition also this week at the Colorado School of Mines Classic, or excuse me, the Last Chance meet, before they head to the NCAA meet in the end of May. So that's going to do it for us here this week. We'd like to thank Coach Oates, Coach Van Wetzinga, and our own Sarena Espinoza for being here on the Coach's Corner. Great luck for everybody headed forward here this week, and we'll see you next time here from the Tivoli Tap House.